Hey everyone, it's your boy, your name, coming at you with some hard truths about traveling as an American in 2024. We're diving deep into 10 countries that are basically waving a giant "Do Not Enter" sign at Americans. These aren't your typical tourist traps. We're talking strict travel bans, simmering political tensions, and safety concerns that would make your grandma nervous. So, before you dust off your passport and pack your bags, buckle up because things are about to get real. Stay tuned to make sure your next travel adventure doesn't turn into an international incident. Alright, let's kick off this travel advisory with a bang. First up, we've got North Korea, the land of Kim Jong-un, and, well, not much else we actually know about. Look, I'm all for embracing different cultures, but even I have to draw the line at a country where your tour guide is basically a government-assigned babysitter. And don't even think about whipping out your phone to post a cheeky Instagram story. Seriously though, the travel restrictions to North Korea aren't just about being annoyingly strict, they're about seriously limiting any outside information from getting in. The US State Department has issued a straight-up travel ban to North Korea, and for good reason. Tensions between the two countries are higher than a dictator's ego, and the risk of getting caught in the middle is not worth the Instagram likes. So, unless you're a journalist with a death wish or a diplomat with a really good insurance plan, maybe skip North Korea this year. Your social media feed and your freedom will thank you. Next up on our list of countries giving Americans the cold shoulder, we've got Iran. Now I know what you're thinking, Iran? But they have beautiful mosques and delicious food. And you're not wrong. Iran has a rich history and culture that deserves to be explored. But unfortunately for Americans, that exploration comes with a whole lot of political baggage. The US and Iran have a long and complicated history, to put it mildly. This tension has made it increasingly difficult for Americans to get visas to visit Iran, and even if you do manage to jump through all the bureaucratic hoops, you'll likely be subject to extra scrutiny and surveillance. And look, I'm all for a bit of adventure, but being followed around by the morality police isn't exactly my idea of a relaxing vacation. So unless you're fluent in Farsi and have a burning desire to debate international sanctions over a cup of Persian tea, maybe give Iran a miss this year. From the mountains of the Andes to the Caribbean coastline, Venezuela is a country of stunning natural beauty. But beneath the surface lies a complex web of political turmoil, economic collapse, and sky-high crime rates that make it a no-go zone for Americans. Once a thriving tourist destination, Venezuela has been crippled by hyperinflation, food shortages, and a healthcare system on the brink of collapse. Basic necessities are scarce, and violence is an everyday reality. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Venezuela, its highest warning, urging Americans not to travel there due to crime, civil unrest, poor health infrastructure, and arbitrary arrest and detention of US citizens. With the US government having limited ability to provide emergency services to its citizens in Venezuela, you're pretty much on your own if things go south. So, as tempting as it may be to snag a cheap flight to this once paradise, remember that sometimes the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets. Stay safe and informed. Chapter 4. The Ghosts of War, Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a landlocked country in South Asia, has been ravaged by decades of war and conflict. While the Taliban's takeover in 2021 sent shockwaves through the world, the reality is that Afghanistan has long been a dangerous destination, particularly for Americans. Anti-American sentiment remains high, and the risk of kidnapping or terrorist attacks is a constant threat. The withdrawal of US troops and the collapse of the Afghan government have created a security vacuum that has been filled by various militant groups including ISIS-K. The US Embassy in Kabul remains closed, and the ability to provide consular services to US citizens in Afghanistan is severely limited. While Afghanistan's rich history and culture may entice adventurers, it's crucial to remember that venturing into a war-torn country is not a decision to be taken lightly. Stay cautious and informed. Chapter 5 from Russia with Restrictions Russia. Next up is Russia, a country that's been in the news a lot lately. And when I say a lot, I mean it's like the main character in a geopolitical thriller that nobody asked for. Look, I get it, Russia has a certain allure. It's the land of Tolstoy, Tchaikovsky, and, well, let's just say their current leadership isn't exactly known for its artistic contributions. But before you book that ticket to Moscow, there are a few things you should know. First of all, getting a visa as an American is about as easy as finding a sober oligarch at a Kremlin party. The process is notoriously difficult, expensive, and time-consuming. And even if you do manage to get a visa, there's no guarantee you'll actually be allowed into the country. The US and Russia are basically playing a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, and the tension is palpable. So, unless you're fluent in Russian, have a high tolerance for bureaucracy, and enjoy the company of suspicious-looking individuals in trench coats, maybe postpone that trip to Russia for now. Chapter 6. Paradise Lost, Honduras. Honduras, a Central American country known for its lush rainforests and ancient Mayan ruins, may seem like an idyllic getaway, but behind its natural beauty lies a dark underbelly of violence, corruption, and poverty that has made it one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Honduras has one of the highest murder rates globally, fueled by gang violence, drug trafficking, and a weak justice system. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Honduras, warning Americans to reconsider travel due to crime and COVID-19. While Honduras's natural beauty and cultural heritage may beckon, the risks associated with its high crime rates and instability make it a destination to avoid. Stay cautious and informed. Chapter 7. Syria, once a cradle of civilization, has been ravaged by a brutal civil war that has raged for over a decade. The conflict has left the country in ruins, its people displaced, and its future uncertain. The Syrian government, led by Bashar al-Assad, has been accused of committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, including the use of chemical weapons against its own people. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Syria, advising Americans not to travel there due to terrorism, civil unrest, armed conflict, kidnapping, and the risk of wrongful detention. The security situation in Syria is extremely volatile, and the risk of getting caught in the crossfire is very high. Kidnapping for ransom is a serious threat, particularly for Westerners. Syria's once vibrant cities lie in ruins, its historical sites damaged or destroyed, and its people caught in a humanitarian crisis. Chapter 8. Yemen, a health crisis. Yemen, located on the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, is facing a humanitarian catastrophe of epic proportions. Years of civil war, coupled with a devastating Saudi-led military intervention, have plunged the country into chaos and despair. The conflict has created the world's worst humanitarian crisis, with millions of people facing famine, disease, and displacement. The healthcare system has collapsed, and access to clean water, sanitation, and basic necessities is extremely limited. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Yemen, advising Americans not to travel there due to terrorism, civil unrest, armed conflict, kidnapping, and the risk of wrongful detention. While Yemen was once home to ancient cities and stunning landscapes, the ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis make it an extremely dangerous destination. Stay cautious and informed. Chapter 9. Zimbabwe economic instability. Zimbabwe, a landlocked country in southern Africa, boasts breathtaking natural beauty, from the majestic Victoria Falls to the wildlife-rich Hwange National Park. However, beneath this picturesque facade lies a country grappling with political instability, economic turmoil, and social unrest. Once considered the breadbasket of Africa, Zimbabwe has been plagued by hyperinflation, corruption, and human rights abuses under the rule of Robert Mugabe. The US State Department has issued a Level 3 travel advisory for Zimbabwe, advising Americans to reconsider travel due to crime and civil unrest. While Zimbabwe has the potential to be a thriving tourist destination, its current economic and political climate makes it a risky proposition for travelers. Stay cautious and informed. Chapter 10. Somalia, cultural conflicts. Somalia, located in the Horn of Africa, has been synonymous with piracy, famine, and civil war for decades. While the country has made some strides toward stability in recent years, it remains a fragile and dangerous destination, particularly for Americans. Somalia has been plagued by a complex and protracted civil war since the early 1990s, with various clan-based militias, Islamist insurgents, and foreign powers vying for control. The rise of the Al-Shabaab terrorist group, affiliated with Al-Qaeda, has further exacerbated the security situation. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Somalia, advising Americans not to travel there due to terrorism, crime, civil unrest, kidnapping, and piracy. While Somalia possesses a rich culture and history, its ongoing security challenges and lack of infrastructure make it an extremely dangerous destination. Stay cautious and informed. So, there you have it, folks. 10 countries that Americans might want to avoid in 2024. Remember, the world is a complex and ever-changing place, and what's safe one day might be dangerous the next. That's why it's crucial to stay informed, do your research, and make responsible travel decisions. Don't rely solely on this video. Check the latest travel advisories from the US State Department and other reputable sources before you book your next trip. Stay safe, stay informed, and happy travels.